I'm William Grantham with Ichimoku Weather.com, and today we're going to do a deep analysis looking for leading indicators. First, we're going to look at the possibility of the NIFTY 50 being a leading indicator for the S&P 500, and then we're going to look and see if we can find a leading indicator for the NIFTY 50. The NIFTY 50 is a benchmark Indian market index that represents the weighted average of 50 of the largest Indian companies listed on the National Stock Exchange. The S&P 500 large companies listed on the stock exchanges in the United States. For the S&P 500, we'll be using the ETF SPY. For the NIFTY 50, we are seeing it as NIFTY. Here we are on a weekly chart, and you can see how both actions look very similar. On the NIFTY 50, you can see where we had the COVID drop, then it came up and found a little bit of resistance at the Kijun-sen, and then crossed above it, and you can see where the Tenkan-sen goes above the Kijun-sen, up, and then it stays at the bearish channel all the way up to where it's starting to level off today. The same thing happened on the SPY, the S&P 500. We have market action that started off with the COVID drop, and then it's been moving up ever since, creating the bearish channel we see right now. So which one is doing better? Which one is leading which? For that, we are going to do a ratio. We are going to take the NIFTY divided by SPY, and now we are looking at the ratio between the NIFTY 50 and the S&P 500. The first part of the ratio is the NIFTY, and so that means when it is going up, it's the first part of the ratio. So we can see that NIFTY 50 is leading the S&P 500. So at this time, the NIFTY 50 could possibly be seen as correlating with the S&P 500 and could be a leading indicator. When it goes up, the S&P 500 goes up. And when it goes down, the S&P 500 might also be going down. Now we are looking at the NIFTY 50 and VXUS, which is a ETF that is international stocks without any United States holdings. And we can see that the two charts look similar again. Now we're looking at the weekly ratio between the NIFTY 50 and VXUS, and we can see that the NIFTY 50 is leading VXUS. Let's drop down to a daily chart and see what it looks like there. And we can see that over the last couple of weeks, the VXUS has started to outperform the NIFTY 50 as shown by this downward angle here at the last part of the chart. VXUS is the Vanguard Total International Stock ETF, and you can find out more information on it at the ETF database at etfdb.com. As we scroll down, we can see different breakdowns, including the different countries. So here's the different country breakdown for it. We can see that the most holding is in Japan with 15+%. Then we have China at 9%, Great Britain at 8.15%, and then finally Canada at 6.27%. The amount of holdings for India is down at 2.74. Here is the NIFTY 50 chart by itself, and you can see the market action is coming down and challenging the top of the cloud with the blue line below the red line. Here is the ratio between NIFTY and Japan, and we can see that it has popped below the cloud a little bit as Japan is gaining a little bit on the NIFTY. This is the ratio between NIFTY and China, and it has backed off a little bit, but NIFTY is still outperforming China. Here is the ratio between NIFTY and Great Britain, and it has fallen below the cloud a little bit more, so a little bit more outpacing of Britain over India. And then fourth on the list, Canada. This is the NIFTY ratio versus Canada, and we can see a big pullback, which means that Canada is outpacing India. So our question is, can Canada be a leading indicator for NIFTY? Here are our two charts side by side. This is both on daily charts. We can see that the NIFTY has come down and is challenging the top of the cloud, where the Canadian ETF is continuing to move up and still has the blue above the red and an open bullish channel. The Chico span on the NIFTY is caught underneath market action. And on the Canadian ETF, it is still free and clear. So right now, the Canadian ETF is outperforming the NIFTY 50 even without looking at the ratio. Will the NIFTY continue to go down and challenge the bottom of the cloud and possibly pass underneath and become bearish? If the Canada ETF is a leading indicator for the NIFTY, then if Canada continues to move up and stay in a bullish trend, then it might be less likely for the Nifty to have weakness as it falls through. However, if we do see the Canada ETF start to lose its bullishness, come down and challenge the top of the cloud and fall underneath, then there is a very good chance that if it is a leading indicator for the Nifty is going to see greater weakness as well. Here we are on a 2-hour chart, and we can see that the Nifty is showing a consolidation and then falling underneath the cloud. The cloud is getting thinner. It has twisted into a bearish configuration, and we are inside the bearish channel between the Kijun-sen and the Tenkan-sen. On the Canadian ETF on the 2-hour, we can see that we are still in a bullish configuration. The Chico span is still free and clear to the upside. We are bullish with price action being above the cloud, so our long-term trend is up, but price is below the Kijun-sen, and so our medium-term trend is bearish. I determined the short-term trend by the blue and the red, the Tenkan-sen and the Kijun-sen. And so when the blue line crosses below the red line, that will be a bearish short-term trend. If the blue line can stay above the red line, then that will be a bullish short-term trend. So we're right at that dividing line with the two lines touching. So we'll be watching over the next few trading days to see if the 2-hour chart on the Canadian ETF can continue to have its bullish momentum, and if not, that might give you a signal that the Indian Nifty 50 could see more weakness ahead. I'm William Grantham with Ichimoku Weather.com.